And yes, I would love to have gotten creative on that bike, but as you know, it did not have any brakes, so it was kind of scary.
It was scary, right?
Yep.
But well, anyway, no, Terence, I think you were big enough for that bike. It would have
That was
actually
the problem. I was big enough. It was too big. The bike was too small. Anyway, besides that, we are talking about an ultra marathon today. I don't think many of us have actually attempted an ultra marathon, but we've got a gentleman in the studio shortly who will be doing so, the marathon, the Sables, and he is our runner. Joining us here today, we have Encik Mohamed Adnan Osman, our marathon runner, and joining him as well, Encik Bakhtiar Talhah, the executive director of the Malaysian AIDS Foundation. Good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? Good morning.
Wow, it's an honor to shake your hand.
Very, very firm handshake there. Thank you.
Good morning
for joining us.
Hi, please have a seat.
Please have a seat. And wow, we have got a very special guest in the studio today simply because I don't think I can do what you are about to do, sir. You're about to run the Marathon des Sables. It is a 6-day run. And I think you've got a 7-day run. You've got to carry your own supplies throughout the run. Tents are provided. But you do know it is kind of grueling. Why are you doing this, sir?
Why am I doing this?
Why?
Right.
Why not?
It's very positive.
Very positive.
Very positive.
But do fill us in on the whys.
Well, I've done quite a number of crazy things in the past.
For example?
Last year, I tried to cycle to Beijing alone, but I was stopped at the Hanoi border.
Oh boy.
Because the Olympic Games, they didn't want too many people.
Right.
You know, so anyway, I toured the whole of Vietnam, and then I went over to Cambodia.
On a bike?
Yes, on the bike.
Wow.
Okay.
And
that's quite amazing.
I think I should hook him up with my Dagu. You know, both of them will get along great because he cycles everywhere as well.
My Dagu does something else.
But he cycles everywhere. So it's very interesting that you are actually gearing up for a marathon whereby we know some people have gotten lost on the trail.
oh yes.
And we know some people have actually not made it through the race.
Yes.
It is quite scary. We'll come back to the marathon shortly. But what is the tie-up with the Malaysian AIDS Foundation? Where does the Malaysian AIDS Foundation come in and why?
We are so honored to have Cikgu Adnan here to actually have chosen the Malaysian AIDS Foundation. So he's chosen the HIV/AIDS cause to bring awareness to all Malaysians as well as to raise funds for the foundation on the activities that we do. So I think Cikgu Adnan was the one who came to us and said, hey, you know, let's bring this cause up to the forefront.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think a lot of Malaysians are still not very aware about HIV/AIDS.
Right. Okay, that's really interesting. Now, well, Cikgu Bakhtiar, why did you actually approach? Now, let's hear your view on it. Why the Malaysian AIDS Foundation then?
Well, you hear of so many foundations against the Heart Foundation, kidney, you know, but not very much publicity is given to AIDS because probably the stigma attached to these, you know. So I thought, why not? Because I think Malaysians are very generous generally. You hear about the now the Gaza fund, they are raising millions of dollars. That is going overseas. Of course, it's a good cause. But then we have problems in our own country.
Right, you can start at home.
Some say charity begins at home. So I think this is a very good cause to pursue.
Terence, I need to ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Right.
Fire away.
So excited. You can see I'm almost falling off my chair.
And, I don't know if the chair can continue. Shoot, fire.
I'm just so excited. Okay, now I need to ask you, Cikgu Bakhtiar, about your training regime. Now, how do you do it and how do you stay so fit? My goodness. Really curious to know.
Well, actually, I was not as fit as I am now, say 40 years ago.
Wow.
Because I was a heavy smoker. I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't be doing. But then I stopped smoking. That was 20 years ago.
Okay.
And from then on, I went into this physical you know, endurance and things like that. Because actually, when you stop smoking, you put on weight. So I couldn't afford to change my whole wardrobe. So I went into these physical things to stay in the shape.
Right.
Yeah? And then it got, actually you can get addicted to say running.
To running, right.
You know? And I did a lot of 10Ks, 21Ks, and then went into 42Ks. I also got bored running. I went into mountain trekking.
Right.
So I trekked all the mountains in Malaysia, several times in fact.
Wow.
You know? So I've covered all the mountains that's to be climbed.
Wonderful.
Then I got bored with Malaysian mountains. I went over to the Himalayas.
Right.
So that was about 10 years. You know?
This is an amazing man we're talking to.
He is the answer to the question posed by Dr. Mahathir, why do men climb mountains when it's
Mountains,
safer to stay at home? This is the answer right here.
His answer, Terence, his answer would be, why not? Right.
Now, let's talk a little bit about AIDS and HIV and the awareness here in Malaysia. How far along are we with the awareness programs? How aware are Malaysians of HIV and AIDS?
I think Malaysians in general are not very aware of HIV and AIDS. I think every year we have about 5,000 new cases identified.
Right.
And I think the message still needs to go out there. And I think efforts like Cikgu Adnan, to have chosen the Malaysian AIDS Foundation to raise funds, I think it's really good. It's really good for us and it's really good for the country.
Right.
So yeah, we need to do much more.
Now, since you have the airtime, why not just, briefly tell us what HIV and what AIDS is?
Okay, HIV is a virus and you can get infected. In fact, through various means, sexual contact, sharing of needles, for example, for drug users. But you cannot get HIV through, for example, sharing food or hugging someone who has HIV.
Right.
So it's very specific means of contracting the virus. AIDS is in fact the syndrome when your immune system is just so low that you just don't have any way to fight off just very simple infections that people get, like common colds and all of that. So people can die from AIDS. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the message, and I think what I like to do is to appeal to all Malaysians, individuals and corporate companies to actually come forward and support Cikgu Adnan and also his cause with the Malaysian AIDS Foundation.
Right.